Do you want to officially start? Have we pressed the record button yet?
Yep, we are officially now starting.
All right, well, officially welcome to everyone for our lesson tonight on Thursday the 22nd of March. This is Robert Jamieson, and I have David in the other room at the moment looking at your answers on the chat. Now, with me today we have Haran. How are you today?
Good.
So we normally start by asking a little bit about you. So how old are you?
9.
9, all right. How long have you been playing chess for?
I started playing tournaments when I was 6.
All right. Oh, that's pretty good. That's a nice early age to start. Do you know what your rating is?
No.
Okay. And which school do you go to?
Sindel South Primary School.
Sindel South. So that's near my way. I used to live in Mount Waverley, the next suburb along. All right. And you played in the Australian Junior Championships, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the under 10s?
Yeah.
And how did you go in that?
I got 4.5 out of 9.
Oh, that's not too bad. Well done. That's good. All right. Well, today we're going to have a look at some of your games, and we're going to particularly focus on tactics, because I think that's an area we might need to work on a little bit. All right. So I hope all you guys out there have had a look at the puzzle. Black to play. So black's in a bit of trouble because he's exchanged down, and white has that really strong pass pawn, but white's king is a little bit undefended. So, Haran, have you got any good idea for black? What move would you play?
I'm not really sure.
Okay. Well, generally what we do when we're trying to solve a puzzle, the first thing we look at is all checks and captures. So there's 2 checks. There's rook e1 check or queen a1 check. Do any of them appeal to you? Play queen down to a1 or rook down to e1?
I was thinking about that, except I didn't have a good plan.
Yeah, good follow-up plan. All right. Well, let's get started and see how we go. So we'll try queen a1 check. Queen's the most powerful piece, so we want that attacking. King has to go to g2. All right, I got this far myself, and then when I was trying to solve this puzzle, I kept looking at bishop h3 check and trying to chase the king away there. But I never seemed to be able to corner him. So I was a bit stuck. And then suddenly it hit me, a really good move. Remember, we look at checks and captures. Now, has black got a really good check here? I don't think anyone's suggested it in the chat yet. What checks could you look at? Can you see any checks?
Queen f1.
All right, let's try queen f1 check. Now that just loses the queen, doesn't it? Doesn't he just take it? Hang on, let me press the button. Have you got a good follow-up?
Bishop h3 check.
Hang on, I'm not very good at pressing the button today. Bishop h3 check. That looks pretty good. You got a really good follow-up?
Rook e1.
Excellent. Well done. So if any of you guys found that, that was a good puzzle. If you found queen f1 check, it shows you had quite a bit of imagination. So well done to those of you who solved that particular puzzle. All right, let's launch into our games now, and we'll start off with another position. All right, now this is from one of your games in the Australian Junior. You were white and you're playing someone named Rowan. All right, so let's just have a look at the position. So the first thing we do is look at the material, and that's all equal. And then we look at what's being threatened. So what's black threatening to do here?
Take my knight.
Yeah, your knight's under attack, and the knight's pinned against the rook. So if you move the knight, he's going to take your rook. So you were white, so you're in a bit of a pickle here. So I want you guys out there to try and help Haran out and suggest what he should do. Now, what we normally do when we're trying to analyse is we look at what we call candidate moves. So we decide which moves are worth looking at in this position. So I'd like to suggest we could either play rook takes d8 check. That would be a first move we'd look at. Second move, we could move the pinned knight. Knight to d6 would be a move we could look at. Or the third move we could look at would be rook to c1 to protect that knight. So I'm going to launch a poll, so I want you all to decide Would you play rook takes rook check, knight d6, or perhaps rook c1? They're the three moves. I'll give you 5 more seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so if people could start voting, whether they want rook d8, knight d6, or rook c1. Well, it's pretty spread across the board at the moment. Rook d8 is just in front. Rook c1, oh, it's a tie. Oh no, rook d8's hit the lead again. 38%. Everyone voted. I'll give another 5 seconds if you haven't voted. All right, we will close the poll. Let's have a look at the results. Now, what have we got here? Rook d8, 41% went for that. And then it was a tie, knight d6 and rook c1, both on 29%. Okay, so a bit of confusion, what's the best move? Now, this was your game. You might remember what you played, or you might have decided on a different move now. What would you play, do you think?
Maybe knight d6, because on both of the moves, the rook can move to d4, and there's 2 attackers. There'll be one defender.
Okay, so knight d6, you're going to lose your rook for the bishop, aren't you? So let's have a quick look. So knight d6, he's going to be able to take your rook, you lose the exchange. Does that worry you, or is that the best way out?
Probably the best way.
Okay, all right, well, let's look at the others. So what would happen if say, you played rook takes rook, which is what you actually did in the game? He'd take you back. What would you do then? Your knight's pinned.
Rook c1.
You have to do rook c1, and then he could do a really good killer move.
Yeah.
Rook c8, and now the knight's really pinned and you're dropping a piece. So that's what happened in the game. So that probably wasn't the best one. So let's go back and look at the other one. We could play rook c1. All right, what would he do then?
Rook c8.
He could do rook c8. So that would be a double attack on your knight. So are you losing the knight or the exchange again, or have you got a way out?
The way out.
What's the way out?
Knight d6.
Knight d6, very good. How does that get out? So if he takes your rook, what can you do?
Then I take his...
Then you can take his rook with your knight and you're not losing the exchange. All right, that looks pretty good. So maybe that's the best line, but before we decide it's the best line, we have to look around at other moves just in case. So instead of rook c8, would he have another move he could do?
Rook d4.
Yeah, rook d4. That looks like a better move for him because now the knight is pinned and we can't move it to d6 to attack his knight. So that's a bit of a pickle. We're going to drop the exchange and his rook's all active. So the bottom line is the best move is knight d6, as you said. So we're dropping the exchange. We've got a really strong knight to make up for it. So those of you who voted for knight d6, well done. That was good. All right, let's have a look at another one. We want this one, I think. All right. This is the start of a game. You were white against someone named Lai, and it went like this. All right. Bit of an unusual opening. Now, do you remember what moves you might have looked at here? Did you look at very many moves here?
Not really.
Not really? All right, well, have a look at it now. What moves do you think might be worth looking at? He's threatening to take your pawn on e5, so you've got to do something about that.
f4.
You could do f4 to protect it, yep. What else would you look at?
Knight f3.
Knight f3 protects as well and develop a piece, that'd be good. What else could you look at?
Queen h5.
Queen h5 check, maybe. All right, anything else? Would you take his pawn? That'd be another one to look at. Swap the pawns?
Yeah.
All right, and what about, there's another way you can protect your pawn on e5? What about bishop f4?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's quite a few there. So I've picked 4 of those. I didn't like queen h5 check because he just played g6. So I want you guys to decide, should white play ef6, taking on f6 with the pawn, Knight F3 to protect the pawn, F4 to protect the pawn, or Bishop F4 to protect the pawn. So we're going to have another poll. So I'd like you to decide again. So take on F6, Knight F3, F4, or Bishop F4. Okay, let's launch the poll. So everyone start voting. Take F6, Knight F3, F4, or Bishop F4. Knight F3's hit the lead. F4 is coming second at the moment. Give you another 5 seconds. Knight F3 still in the lead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All finished. Okay, we'll close the poll. Let's have a look at the results. What have we got? So Knight F3 is winning on 44%. Then the second most popular one is F4, 31%. EF6 only gets 19%. And Bishop F4 gets 6%. All right, that was interesting. Now, in the game, you chose EF6, and he took back like that. Is that the best one, or would you choose another one if you had a second go at it?
Choose a different one.
You choose, okay, so what was wrong with this one?
Because it gives him a redeveloping move.
Yeah, so like he's got 2 developed pieces now and you've got none. So he's recaptured with developing move. All right, so let's go back. Bishop F4, do you think Bishop F4 is any good?
Yeah, sort of. But
Sort of. Is that the best square for the bishop, or you don't really know what the best square for the bishop is yet?
I don't really know yet.
Yeah, it's a bit early to know the best square for the bishop, so we'll leave him at home. So that leaves Knight F3 or F4. Knight F3, so that protects it. That's a developing move. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, I think that one.
You prefer that one to F4?
Yeah.
All right. Well, F4 and Knight F3 are the best 2. I would personally play F4. What would be the problem with Knight F3 that you'd be a little bit worried about? If Black was to make a good move now, what do you think Black could do?
Bishop on G4.
Yeah, Black could play Bishop G4. White could maybe put his bishop out or something like that. But Bishop G4 pinning your knight, so that's putting that E5 pawn under pressure. And if Black's going to end up playing E6, his bishop's going to be outside the pawn chain now. So my personal preference would be to play F4 and wait till his bishop sort of commits itself before I play Knight F3 if I can. And now we've cemented that pawn on E5. So if he takes us, we can take back, and we're going to have more space than that lovely protected pawn on E5. So all right, so in the game you made a slightly wrong decision taking, but you now understand that that's not the best one. All right, so that's cool. Excellent. All right, let's have a look at a game now. See if I can choose which one I want to look at. We'll look at this Mcconnell game, I think. All right, so this is Harrison Mcconnell versus Haran. Okay, so you're Black, so off we go. English opening, that's a bit unusual. You wouldn't have played against that too often. So you're developing your knights. Oh, he's playing D4. Was that a good plan for him to get his queen out early like that?
No.
Why not?
Because I can attack it with Knight C6.
Yeah, so you can attack it with a developing move. So he's like giving you a free move. All right, excellent. So now his queen's got to run back again. So we're already a move ahead. Excellent. We're going great guns here. You develop your bishop so you can castle. He develops his bishop as well with a pin. All right. So you're Black, it's your go here. What candidate moves would you look at?
Castle.
Castle, that'd be a good move. Nice and safe, get your king safe in the corner. What else would you look at?
D6.
D6, that's all right. That helps develop the queen side and protect a bit of the centre. Any other move you'd look at?
H6.
H6, you could chase that annoying bishop away, or if he takes, then you can recapture with developing move and you're controlling all the black squares. That looks all right. Are they the only 3 moves you'd look at, or is that enough?
One more. Knight D4.
Knight D4. All right, why does your knight want to go to D4? Let's have a look at that one. Would that be a good move? Why does your knight want to go to D4?
And you can attack C2.
Right, isn't C2 protected?
Yeah.
So it's not going to C2 at the moment, is it?
No.
You remember the rule we've talked about in the opening? We've tried to move each piece only once and put it on the best square, and you've already moved that knight, haven't you?
Yeah.
And it's on a pretty good square controlling the centre. So knight d4 would probably be a bit naughty moving it twice before we've got all our pieces developed. All right, so we'll knock that one on the head. d6 would be all right. h6 would be all right. Castles would be all right. But there's a move you haven't looked at. Remember what I said, we look at all checks and captures?
Yeah.
You want to have a look at a check or a capture and see if you can find a good move?
Bishop takes F2.
Yeah, you played h6, which is all right, but you could have ripped in here. Hang on, I'll just change my notes on that one. And then you go here and you pick up the bishop, you've won a pawn, and there was king can't castle. That would have been great. All right. So why do you reckon you didn't see that in the game? Just didn't look at it?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So this is important that you guys make certain you look at all the relevant candidate moves. So it's very easy here to say, oh, castle is good or h6 is good, I'll just play that. But then you might miss a chance. So only takes a second, have a quick look at all checks and captures. All right, so you put the question to the bishop. His bishop ran away, so unfortunately he's protecting his pawn now and we can't do it. d6, that's all right. d3, that's all right. Castles, we're going great guns here. Bishop e7. Bishop f5, that looks like a good square for the bishop, so I'm happy with that. Oh, now he's gone and moved a piece twice and he's trying to double attack your knight. Does that scare you? Or can you get out of it, or what?
Yeah, I was thinking of G5.
Right, but you didn't play G5, so what persuaded you not to play G5?
I don't really know.
Okay. Well, you played a different move. Do you remember what move you played?
No.
Okay, you played bishop check. All right. Why would you want to do that? Is that a good move?
I was trying to get his knight to take.
Okay, and then your knight would maybe come in c2 or something, you're thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, that's possible. Were it me, I would definitely have played g5 to chase his bishop away, and then you're ahead in development, so you could maybe try and swap knights and then get in bishop b4 check so he can't castle, that sort of thing. I think you'd be going fairly well. So bishop b4 check, maybe a little boo-boo, but he didn't take. He went back again. Okay, so what can we do now? I'll give you a choice of two moves. You could play bishop c5 or g5. What do you think would be the good one?
G5.
All right. So why would that be better than bishop c5?
Because I'm moving the bishop back again.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the game, you actually move the bishop back again. So that was a bit naughty because the bishop was in a good spot. It was pinning that knight. So you've like wasted a move going back again. All right, but never mind. He plays knight f3. Now you're attacking him with your knight. You're very keen on attacking on c2, aren't you?
Yeah.
So is this a good move? Is it a good attack?
A bit. Because his queen's still defending.
His queen's defending, but you've got knight and the bishop attacking it now.
Yeah.
All right, so you found something to attack.
Yeah.
All right. Did you ask yourself what's he going to reply? How's he going to get out of it?
No.
Not really? Yep. This is the impression I get through looking at a lot of your games. You seem to like attacking something, but you forget to say, you know, can he get out of it, and is it going to be good for me when he gets out of it, or bad for me, or what? So if he can't stop knight c2 and picking up exchange something, that's cool, but what could he do? Give me if you were white, he's got a couple of okay moves, what could he do?
Rook C1.
He could just play rook C1. Whoops, hang on. I'll press the wrong button here. Wait a minute. Sorry. What's going on? Yeah, he played E4. He could have played rook C1, and then you haven't got any attack. Your knight is just out there all on its lonesome. It's going to be pushed back. We could even just castle. Knight C2, he moves the rook. See, so knight B4 wasn't a good attack. So what you've got to do before you attack, you've got to say, can he get out of it? Because again, like you're moving a piece twice, and you still haven't got your queen developed and got your rooks developed. So that was a little bit naughty. He in fact played E4 to block the bishop, and you went back to E6, and then he said, go away. So you know what now happens now? You've got to go away. So you're giving him all this free time. Right, so your knight can go to two spots. It can go to A6 or C6. Which one do you reckon it should go to?
C6.
All right, why do you choose C6?
Because on A6 it's only controlling B8 and...
Yeah, it's on the side of the board.
Yeah.
So when we're choosing where to put our pieces, we say, what's the best square? So C6 would have been the best square. Unfortunately, he went to the A6 square, but never mind. He castles. What happened now? C6, I guess that's all right. He went E5, attacking your knight, so you chopped him. He decided to have an exchange of queens. That's good, because that gets your rook into the open file, so he's given you like a free developing move there. He took the pawn. Okay. What can we do here? G5. Yep, I reckon that's all right, because that bishop pinning our knight's a bit annoying. So we'll chase the bishop back. All right. What moves would you look at here for black? Are there 2 or 3 moves you could have a look at playing?
Rook D2.
Rook D2 looks pretty good. That's attacking the B pawn and putting the bishop under pressure. Another move you might have a look at. Nothing else spring to mind? Do you remember what you played in the game?
No.
Okay, well in the game you played H5. So why would you want to play H5? You're trying to trap the bishop. Right, so this is like this knight attack. You've come up with an attacking idea, but you haven't really said, can he get out of it? And in this case, he can get out of it, and it's going to work out a bit better for him. So Rook D2 would have been the better move, because he now plays H4. Maybe you should push past, but you took him, and he took back. So now he's got a really good pin on that knight, and now your H pawn's under attack. So you're in a bit of strife. So you drop back, and then he played a little tactic to win the H pawn. So he's a pawn ahead, but that doesn't matter so much. Your pieces are still okay. So you protected the bishop, so you could move that knight if you want. He dropped the bishop back. Now he probably, I guess he's got to defend that C pawn. Maybe he could have gone to F3. Not sure. So you've got a good attacking move now. What do you think? Black to play. Remember what we talked about before?
Rook D2.
Rook D2 looks pretty good still. You're hitting his B pawn and stuff. Alright, so what did he do? Bishop D3. That's a bit wonky.
I think he tried to trap my rook in the file.
He's probably trying to trap your rook. Let's go back and have a look. So if you protected that pawn, what have we got? We'd probably bring our knight into C5 or something like that. Yeah, so that was a strange move. Maybe he's made a little bit of a boo-boo. So we'll take the pawn. So we've got the material back to even now. We've got a nice attacking rook. He puts a rook on E1. So now you've got a good move again. You're good at seeing what to attack. So you attacked his knight and his pawn, and your rook's all aggressive. So that looks good. He played knight e4, double attack on your knight. So we'll swap off. All right, now it's getting a bit messy because the bishops can take each other. His bishop on d3 has to be careful the knight doesn't move because your rook's attacking that. You're attacking his a pawn. So it's a bit complicated. So black to play. What moves would you look at here? Can you see any good moves that stick out?
Knight c5.
Knight c5. Why would you want to play knight c5?
So it attacks my rook and the rook has to move away and the bishop.
Are there other moves you want to have a look at? Would you play bishop takes bishop maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other moves we should have a look at?
f6.
f6 maybe, attacking that knight, and if the knight moves then the bishop's on pre. All right. Now the best one would probably be knight c5, as you said. Now that's good because A, it's a double attack on the rook and the bishop, but one of the things we're trying to do, I keep saying to you guys, is not only you put your pieces on good squares, but you want to try and get your pieces cooperating. So your knight was really out of the play on the side of the board. So if you can bring your knight into the attack, that's really good. That's what we should be aiming to do. So knight c5 would have been a really good move. And he's in a bit of a pickle here because that rook's got to stay defending the bishop. He might be dropping the exchange. But unfortunately in the game, you chose the bishop takes bishop. He took you back. Now it's getting a bit tricky again. Bishop c8. So that's sort of a sneaky move. So you're attacking his knight, and if the knight moves, you can take his bishop. So we have to be careful. He probably should play maybe f4 or something. He played rook e1. Now it's getting really messy because that knight's pinned to the rook. Or it might have some discovered attack coming at some stage too. So here we go, f6. So it's all happening here. The knight's attacked by the pawn. If it moves, then we've got rook takes rook and the bishop's undefended. Or maybe he can do bishop h7 checks to get the bishop out. What do you think he should do? So can you see any way out of it for white, or is he dropping a piece? It's pretty difficult. Or what are you looking at? Bishop h7 check,
Yeah.
you think? All right. That's probably a reasonable move. There is a pretty good move here. I don't know whether any of you guys out there can see a very good move for white, but rook e3 would be a good move. Now, why would that be a good move? Just can't you just take the knight? What would he do if he took the knight?
Bishop h7.
Yeah, he can play bishop h7 check, and now he's got a discovered attack on your rook, so he's picking up the exchange. So that's pretty sneaky. And in fact, if you don't take the knight, he's threatening it anyway. So rook e3 would probably been pretty good. He came up with another sneaky move. He came up with c5. So he's trying to get the bishop into c4 and win your rook. You snaffled his knight. So he went check. He naturally blocked with the bishop. And he took on e5. So now this is getting really confusing. So the bishop is pinned to the rook on e8, and white's bishop is attacking your rook on b3. The knight's also attacked. Very confusing. So confusing, I think we're going to need a poll to work out the best move. So you guys put your thinking caps and analysis on. I'll give you 3 candidate moves to choose from. And Haran can have a think too, which he'd choose now if he was black. Black could play bishop takes c4. That's option 1. Option 2, rook b1 check. Option 3, king f7 to protect the bishop from the rook there. So they're the 3 moves we're looking at. Bishop takes bishop, rook b1 check, king f7. I'll give you another 5 seconds and then we'll launch the poll to see what you think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Launch poll. Here we go. So everyone start voting. We've got bishop takes bishop, rook b1 check, or king f7. At the moment, rook b1's hit the lead. Bishop c4 is coming last. King f7's coming second last, so not by much. Everyone voted. All right, we'll close the poll. Let's have a look. So 67% want rook b1 check, 17% want bishop takes bishop, and 17% want king f7. All right. Do you remember what you played?
I think king f7.
Okay. So did you look at the other moves? Why didn't you like the other moves?
I did see bishop takes bishop, but I thought the rook would take my rook.
So let's say if it went bishop takes bishop, he could play rook takes rook, but then you get an attack on his rook, so he hasn't got time to take your bishop yet. So you're sort of hanging in there with 2 pieces for rook and pawn probably. So that's not too bad. All right. Did you look at rook b1 check?
No.
Okay. Now, why wouldn't you have looked at rook b1? Did you just look king f7 and think, oh, that's okay, I'll play that?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this is one of the problems where you're not looking at enough candidate moves. You're seeing a move, you think, that's all right, I'll do that one. So remember the thing about looking at all checks and captures? So here it's just logical. Our rook's attacked, which is a bit of a pain. So we could just get our rook out of the attack by checking. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. And then we just go back and try and solve what we're going to do. So for instance, rook b1 check, he'd probably move his king up. Now, has that helped us? What could we do? We could probably still do the bishop takes bishop. Not much different there. Is there anything else we could do?
No.
No, not at all. Can we? He's attacking our bishop. Can we defend it?
Yeah.
How?
King f7.
All right. Is there another way we could defend it?
Yeah. Knight c7.
Yeah. So we could probably bring our knight to c7 because remember that's knight's really out of it. So now we've defended that twice, and if he attacks it again, we can defend it with king f7. So maybe this isn't too bad. So rook b1 would have been the way to go. So as I say, it's important that you look at extra moves. Okay, you went king f7. Okay. Oops, hang on, I keep pressing the wrong button, sorry. King f7. Now I think he hit you with a check. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me because wherever your king goes, your bishop's going to be attacked. So king e7. Now what should white do here?
Rook takes e8.
E6. Yeah, obviously he should take on e6. You were very lucky because he took on b3, I think. So what would happen? Let's say, so if he did take on e6, you'd have to run away. Has white got a good move here?
Rook d4.
Yep, because remember we're looking at all checks. And then we have to run away again and we've dropped our rook. So it would be a rook down. End of game. So you were very lucky that he didn't do that check on e6 and instead I think he grabbed the rook. So that gave you time to drop the knight back. So we're still exchanging the pawn down, so it's still looking pretty grim. But we'll fight on gamely. So he doubled on our bishop. So we have to hide. Now we brought the pawn up. Was that a good move?
No.
No, because we can play bishop takes bishop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a boo-boo on his part. So he should have just swapped off on e6 and tried to win with his extra material. So we're starting our 5-pack now. We take his bishop. He does a rook swap. So now we've got knight and bishop for rook and pawn. So it should be pretty even. So his passed pawns are looking pretty good. He gives us a check for some reason. Up he comes. You put your knight into play. Up he comes. Now, b3, b6. Now that was a good move. I was impressed with that. Why is that a good move? What does that give you that you haven't got at the moment? After he takes, he's sort of got to take him, you take him back. What have you got now?
2 pawns.
Yeah, but what's one of them? One of them's a special pawn.
The C pawn's a passed pawn.
C pawn's a passed pawn. So now you've got a passed pawn. So now he's got to worry about you winning that pawn. Whereas back here, you didn't have a passed pawn and you were worrying about his pawns. So that was good. You saw how to fight back. So that was excellent. He waddles over there, and here comes the pawn. And it's a pretty fast pawn too. It's nearly there. There's one square away, and he stops it. Okay. So still looking good for you because you're. Where's his rook going to go? You're going to hit his rook with the knight, aren't you? And then his rook's got nowhere to go on that file, so he'll have to give up the rook. So that's looking good, but he makes a bit of a howler. Panics under the pressure, and you hit him with a check. And guess what? You win. Excellent. So you were down in the middle there when you're exchanging the pawn down and stuff, but you've fought back, and you won that game. All right. That was good. Now we've got 8 minutes left, so we'll have a quick look at another game. If I can find it. It's the Torain game. Alright, this was a bit of a funny game. You are white against Philip Torain. And he pulled a real swifty on you on the opening. He did this naughty move out here. What did you think when he played that?
I have no idea what to do.
Yeah, it's pretty hard because he's attacking your e-pawn. And you've got to keep defending your knight.
Yeah.
You can't play f3. And if you play knight c3, which is probably okay, he's going to pin it with the bishop and renew his threat. So it's a bit difficult. There is a good move though. So if you had your time again, you've thought of any good move if anyone does this on you next time? You could play knight b5. And even if he wins your pawn, you've got this really annoying attack on c7. It's pretty hard for him to get out of. So that's probably not too bad. But anyway, you went for knight takes knight. He took the pawn. All right, now I'll give you a choice. Should you block with the bishop or block with the queen? What do you think?
Block with my queen.
All right, why do you want to block with the queen?
Because his queen's out in the middle and attacking.
His queen's attacking, all right, but if you block, say you block with the bishop, all right, we'll try this. So he's going to take your knight maybe. Maybe he does this or something. What could you do then?
Castle.
You could castle. Now, is his queen strong or weak now?
Weak.
Yeah, because now you can chase it around. You can play knight c3, rook e1, bishop f3, and gain a few moves chasing his queen, even though you're a pawn down. So it probably would have been better to keep the queens on. But you chose to swap them off. So that's a little bit of a mistake. Just a small one. Still recapture with developing move. He takes your knight. All right. Now, what's your white play here? You got any ideas for a move?
Castle.
Castles would be all right. That's nice and safe. Any other move you'd look at?
Knight Oh, knight D3.
Knight C3 maybe, that's the developing move. Yep, any other move? What about bishop F4? What do you think about that? Would that be a good move?
No.
Why not?
Because,
It's attacking the pawn, isn't it?
yeah.
So why wouldn't that be a good move?
Because we can do bishop D6.
Yeah. So you did bishop F4, but then he did bishop D6, and you ended up taking him. So has this been good for you or good for him?
Good for him.
Yeah, because you've undoubled his pawns. So I think that's another case where you saw an attack. So you went for the attack, but you didn't quite work out how he was going to get out of it, and it turns out he can get out of it with advantage to him. So that was a little bit of a boo-boo. Right, you castled, so we're a pawn down. So we're still plotting on here. Look there, look there. Now, I bet you don't remember what you played here, or do you?
Bishop H5.
All right, tell me why you want to play bishop H5.
Because when his knight takes my bishop, I take with the checkmate.
Okay. So if he makes a boo-boo and takes your bishop, you've got him in a checkmate.
Yep.
All right, do you think he's going to make that boo-boo?
No.
No, he's probably going to see it. So if he sees it and gets out of it, is that good for you or good for him?
Good for him.
Yeah. So what you've done is you've like set him a trap. Hope he falls for it. If he does, it's good for you, but if he doesn't, it's bad for you. So if you're playing really weak players, maybe you can set traps like that. But if you want to be a good player, they don't go around setting traps hoping their opponent's going to blunder sort of thing. So that would be a bad move. So what happened, in fact, was he saw it, he played a developing move, and now you've got to worry because your C2 pawn's attacked and your bishop's attacked. So you've like given him a free attacking move. Now, so you swap the rook. Is that a good idea, swapping the rooks?
Not really.
Why not? Why not? It's rook for rook? Isn't that an even swap?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't it be a good idea?
It still might be good. Yeah.
So you happy to swap the rooks?
Yeah.
Why?
Because then I can defend with bishop and his rook takes either knight A2. And boxes with an A1.
Couldn't you defend the pawn like, say, rook A to C1 or something like that?
Yeah.
Would that be any good?
But my bishop's attacked.
Oh, your bishop's attacked. Oh, yeah, okay. So we'd have to move our bishop. Right, well, what if we played, say we played bishop F3? He's going to take your pawn, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas what happened, let's see what happened. So you took his rook, he took back, and you played there. Can you see the difference in the position?
Yeah.
Now he's got the rook on the open file, whereas before you both had the rook on the open file. So when you swap the rooks, you've like given him a free open file. So it would have been better to keep the rooks opposed to each other. So there's a little point. So he grabs an extra pawn. G4. Is that a good move? Why are we playing G4? Did you want to attack him?
No. Just trying to get my king out.
Yeah, it's a bit weak, you know. G3 would have been better. So he just stops it. You attack his bishop. He drops back. You keep attacking, but he's got lots of defenders, so it's not a very good attack. And then it's 2 pawns up. So we have a bit of a swap off, and now he's got a double attack. So you've lost your attacking pawn. So if that pawn had been on G3, you would have been okay. You swing the rook up, he attacks. You attack his knight, he's down here. Now, so he's attacking your pawn on A2, and you're attacking his pawn on D6. So should you swap pawn for pawn, or should you move your rook back to A3 or B3 or something like that? What do you think?
Okay.
Rook A3, you want to defend your pawn.
Yeah.
So are you winning the game or losing the game?
Losing.
Losing. So what's the general rule we have when you're losing about swapping pieces and pawns?
To swap pawns.
Yeah, so when you're losing, you try and swap pawns. So if you could take his pawn on D6 for your pawn on A2, that would probably be good because you could follow up with your rook to D7. Then you've got a really attacking rook. So you played rook B3, probably a little bit of a boo-boo. chased away, and then he went into more swaps, and you took him. Did you take him?
No.
No. It's total loss of game if you take him. You should keep the rook on. But I mean, he's got lots of pawns. And you ended up losing. But never mind. So, we've had a look at 2 games and a couple of positions. And it's pretty obvious to me that you've played in the Australian Junior before we've done all these lectures, and you've been listening to what I've been saying. And you've learnt a lot of things since the Australian Junior, because you're making quite a few mistakes there, but you now realise that they're not the best moves. So what do you think you can do to improve on some of the games we've seen today? What sort of things you need to look at more?
What my opponent can do.
Yeah. So at the moment, you've just been sort of attacking things and seeing a good move and making it, but you've got to look at maybe more candidate moves, and if you see a good attack, before you do it, you've got to say what's he going to reply and make certain you can't get out of it. Otherwise, it might be a waste of time and you'd be better off doing something else. But certainly it's very promising games, and hopefully you'll do well. Are you playing on Sunday in the Novices Tournament?
Yeah.
Yep, all right, excellent. So I hope you guys know this Sunday we've got the Novices Tournament on at Monash. Novices is probably a bit of a misnomer because we want everyone to play, and before that we're inviting the squad members down at 9 a.m. and Carl and I and David are going to be there and sort of review what we've been teaching you so far and have a fun little team tournament as well. So we hope a lot of you can come along to that this Sunday at Monash. Other than that, next week is our last week for the term on Thursday. I think I've got Daniel coming in. So I look forward to seeing a lot of you on Sunday, and if not, then next Thursday. So thank you all for attending tonight's lesson, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you.
The